WoW Classic is a weird game for me. It's really grindy, it's really easy, it's just a knowledge check and it's with other player. Quite the opposite that I like. But I wanted to finish it at least once. I never reached more than level 30, I think that was my max character. And I got bored, so I thought about adding a challenge to it. What if you solo every dungeon by leveling and being naked? Of course, that's a dumb idea, like, no one can do that, that's just impossible. Only a fool would. Hi, my name is Roppy, and today we are doing a challenge soloing every dungeon by naked. Now, the rules are pretty simple, we have to solo every dungeon and be naked. So, for example, if we reach Ragefire Chasm, it's a level between 13 and 18, we have to solo it between that level, no higher, no lower, or the challenge failed. If we level up in middle of the dungeon, that's fine, unless we reset the dungeon, we cannot start the dungeon new. If we are higher level, then it should be. So 18 the max for Ragefire Chasm. If we enter at 19, the challenge failed. The other rule is also pretty simple, don't wear any gear. Expect gears that have no stats. Now, I'm not gonna enchant them, that's against the rules. It's only for cosmetics, I mean, I don't actually wanna be naked. I mean, let me have those shoes, come on, it's cold outside. My own goal is also to not die or die as minimal as possible. Of course, we're not playing on hardcore, simply because if we die, I do want to continue the challenge. The challenge is not hardcore, but I will do my absolute best to not die. Now, of course, I will show you mostly the dungeon progression, but I will show you some outside content. Oh, wait a second. Offhand dropped. Let me check. Nah, mine's better. Anyway, I mostly focus on dungeon content, but some outdoor content will be inside the video, like almost dying or dying, you know. Speaking of almost dying, here's a moment that I absolutely almost died because for some reason the respawn time is like 2 or 3 minutes, and once I started running outside, hooray, respawn is already outside. Oh, and prepare yourself because running will be a huge part of this run, a lot of running. And if I'm good at something, it's running, so hey, this challenge might be good for me. With these moments, I already realized that I need help. I need someone sexy, buffed biceps to save me. But I cannot get help since this is a solo challenge. No players can help me. But companions can. Guys, meet Tankrit, or for short, Critical Tango. And look, he's also doing the naked challenge. I mean, if you ignore the bracers, but hey, he already got the spirit. Although realizing that I'm pretty under-geared and having hard time, I went to a vendor to buy a new gear, although I had 3 options. I mean, other than the brown that looks like a doo-doo, the other 2 options was pretty good. It was kinda hard to choose, so I was thinking really hard and I really needed. With Critical Tango on my side though, I felt indestructible, unstoppable, impossible to defeat. We could literally do anything and no one can defeat us. And we are running away again. I feel like this is gonna be a common thing, huh? But it did not stop me. After we defeated this weird orc guy and this other weird orc guy that gave us a beginnings of quest, we achieved victory in this weird cave. Also, a quick gear check. Now once I reached level 14, it was a huge damage spike for me, because I finally finished putting all my points on corruption, which made the spell instant, which is really important since my amazing gameplay of dotting everything and running away is perfect when I don't even have to stamp to spread COVID. Now for people that don't know what corruption is, it's one of my strongest damage over time effect next to Curse of Agony and Immolation. Also, because I'm level 14, the trainer also taught me another rank of corruption, which almost doubled the damage of my corruption. What a huge damage spike, am I right? It's gonna be easy from now on. Of course, as I said that, I managed to find an enemy that just out-heals my damage. Yeah, this game is kinda balanced, huh? As I pushed forward, I started to realize my damage isn't good without event. I mean, event is pretty much a 4th damage over time effect, and it lets you regenerate your mana. Now I can spend shadow bolts to kill them, but that would pretty much deplete all my mana, and my mana regeneration isn't that great without a gear. Now I found a talent called Improved Drain which never appealed to me. It looks kinda bad because you have to use Drain and you have to finish it with them, but I needed mana regeneration, so I tried it out, and as you can see, it actually did its job, so it's nice, I guess, it's good. Now while leveling, nothing really happened other than this woman just drained every life point of his ally and pretty much stole every valuable he had because I couldn't loot it. Just like in real life. And I was just killing small wolves while a big mama was moving around. Wait, son of a girl. What? So what am I killing? Am I killing baby sperm? Now I wanted to say why I picked Warlock instead of any other class, and that's pretty much the pets. Every game usually has a terrible pet control, but in this game for some reason the pet control is really good. It almost feels like I'm actually controlling two characters. And there are so many hidden things in the pet, for example, the speed boost. The pet usually have like 25% more movement speed than I or any other player, roughly, I don't know exactly, but whenever you press the passive button to call your pet back to you and you're far away from him, he gains an additional 100% movement speed, almost increasing to like 150% movement speed, which is an amazing tool and I will use it a lot of time, especially for kiting. Now questing Overton wasn't anything special, but it still gave me a little challenge simply for I entered this cave at 31 killing this NPC, and for some reason at 34 the NPC already respawned, making it kinda hard to escape naked while everything is alive. Now I don't know why the respawn time was so low, but it made me realize in classic World of Warcraft there is actually respawn time in dungeons as well, and I got scared. Did I just started doing the most grindiest challenge in the game? I really hope not. Now I managed to reach level 16 and put additional point to improve drain because let's be honest, 50% in this game is more like 5%, so getting a 100% chance is way better than 5%. But I didn't realize it will give me an additional challenge, which is keep my bag empty from soul shard. Yeah, maybe this talent wasn't that good. I managed to reach level 17 and I immediately got into trouble by interacting with this wolf, and for some reason, like how would I know, summoned 2 additional enemies. Yay! But my hero, my savior, Critical Tango, sacrificed his own life to protect me with his shield. I will never forget his sacrifice. Oh, he's back. Oh, never mind. But I kinda wished I died there, because I made the biggest mistake in my life. I entered this place. It took me half an hour to get just one quest item. I got half of a level up by just killing goblins in that zone. Is this guys what you like to do? This grind is insane. I was so ready to quit there. Half an hour just for one quest item? I read the quest up like 4 times. I thought I'm doing something wrong. Was I doing something wrong? I don't know. Was there a way to increase the drop chase? I don't know. But I was killing them for half an hour. I got so impatient by that time. I thought I was going insane. But I finally got it, and surprise, surprise, I managed to level up to level 18. At least one good thing happened in that place, that this amazing chest form aspect dropped. Wow, shadow damage, it's really good for me. I turned one more quest before I headed to the dungeon, since I leveled up to 18, and I got this amazing quest reward, 2 swiftness potion. I mean, increasing my movement speed with 50% is just huge. I can escape from danger or just hide better, and I was really happy of getting. I also went to the trainer and I got Curse of Agony additional rank, which is once again one of my damage over time effect, and it increased my damage. And I also got this Consume Shadows, which is simply heals my pet out of combat. It doesn't sound too much, but for me it was like a treasure, the one piece, because you don't know how long I wait for my pet to regenerate life. I'm just standing there hours. and quickly here's a gear check before I enter the dungeon. And if anyone wanted to know, these are the level requirements for the dungeon. As you can see, Ragefire Chasm between level 13 to level 18. Now I finally entered the dungeon and I wanted to check how hard it is to kill one enemy. Yeah, it didn't go too well. I mean, critical tango is almost dead. Yeah, I missed my wand and I guess every other piece of my gear. Now I slowly killed everything by themselves until I met a new enemy, Shaman, which is kinda problematic because his touch is so smooth, he just heals everyone up, and because of that I feared him so he doesn't heal, but I managed to pull a little too much because of that. Now I didn't want to run out because I mean the whole run would be like kill one run out type of situation, so I stood my ground as long as I could. I fought tooth and nails to only do what I could do. Now I think I did pretty well, but sadly in the end I kinda had to run out anyway, but I took 2 out of the 3, so hey, I think that's still a victory. I managed to kill every trog by themselves until I met a group of 3, and one of them was also a shaman who likes to touch. I mean heal. Now while I was thinking, let me show you the bag. I brought some scrolls, healing potions, a wool bandage, and importantly a skull, which deals 75 damage and also heals me for 75. Now I brought this. I could have brought more, but I thought this is gonna be enough for this dungeon. Now the plan was simple. Running. My first move is to send my pet, which aggroed all 3 of them, and I attacked only one and got the aggro away from my pet. Which means it will follow me while the other 2 will fight with my pet. I pulled him away so the shaman cannot touch heal him, and once my pet was close to dying, I sacrificed his life to protect myself to deal additional damage whenever I need for protection. Now I kited the trog obviously to the end, and my point was to kill it before I have to run out of the dungeon, and once I did it, it was pretty easy to kill this last 2 one by themselves. I cleared through the elementals one by one, nothing interesting, but I finally met our new enemies, the orcs, which die the same way as everything else if I pull only one. Now once I saw a little forward, I saw most orcs are in group of 2 or even 3 or 4. Then I started to think that I will go back and clear out everything behind me, even upstairs. The reason is I had a plan. And the plan is of course meaning I want to run away. Now, I cleared everything as you expected for me one by one until I tested out a jump. I jumped down, of course my pet started to go down as well, but not the way I was expecting. I managed to stop it, but it was too late. An elemental aggroed it, and the elemental also called additional elemental. And who would have thought? I started running out, but I didn't want to run out. I had enough of running out all the time. I summoned my pets and was ready to fight again. And I actually managed to defeat both of them. Hey, I did something without running out of the dungeon. That's nice, right? I did it. Now, whenever I was running away from the elementals, I noticed something while I was running. I could actually jump down from the bridge, although there were still trogs there. So I thought, if I'm gonna kite so much, I might as well clear out that part. Now that idea turned into a nightmare real quick because it was 3 trogs once again, and one of them of course was a shaman. Now I did try the same thing as I did before, get one, aggro it on me while the pet deal with the other 2 and kill it before I run out of dungeon. But the dungeon was actually further away and the trog actually reached me, which meant I had to fear him, and if it of course ran the wrong way. And all I could do, run as much as I could, waited for him, but it didn't really matter because it came with the other 2, so I have no other choice but to run out without killing. Of course, the second fear I did went the opposite way I wanted to, towards the exit, so I kinda got stuck there. I had to chain fear until it went to the right way, and of course I lost so much health that I definitely running out. And luckily I didn't die, nor I used too much survivability, but it still sucked. Now while I was running back, I got a great idea. What if I start above the bridge? And I send my pet down, the same plan. I will attack one until I get the aggro and kill it by itself while the other 2 is fighting with my pet. That was the plan, but for some reason if I'm fighting above the bridge, the troll just evaded and healed himself up. Yeah, that kinda sucked. But the fight wasn't over yet. I summoned my back up since the other 2 didn't have any aggro on me because I didn't touch them. The pet got their aggro and the plan was the same. I attacked the one and ran out of the dungeon. And it could have worked until I had to fear him because I was taking too much damage. And because fear is a cooperative spell, it of course ran towards the shaman. And you can have guessed it, it runs towards the shaman healed him, but died. I had nothing to do other than abort the mission and retry again. Now on to try 3, which was the same plan, same strategy, did the same thing, other than once I casted the Shadow Ball, I stepped off the ledge so the trog doesn't evade accidentally. Of course, when my pet was close to dying, I sacrificed it for the additional absorb, and the gap between the trogs were actually big, so I started running while damage over timing the enemy, and I ran a lot, and it's simply but slowly killing him. And it did work, you can see it went amazingly. Once it was close to death, I started to drain souling in, and for some reason the shaman actually reached him and healed him up. God damn it, but I wasn't done. I'm not living until that goddamn trog dies. I feared him, I used everything to survive. Of course somehow I LOS because fear is a cooperative spell. I did everything to kill him, I made sure the shaman doesn't heal him again. I finally got it, and ran out, and I finally did this goddamn wave. Now I went back, kinda used the same strategy, separating them. The pet holded the shaman while I was playing with the trog. Of course, fear is not a cooperative spell, so it first ran towards the shaman, but luckily the second time it didn't, and I slowly but surely defeated both of them, as you can see. Once I did it, I ran back to the orcs, and once again we met a new type of orc, but even with 2 of them, nothing really happened. But the next pack though, that was 4 elites and a pet. I was thinking so hard, how am I actually gonna beat this? But luckily, one of them didn't come. I just pulled from the side and the caster and the pet just decided not to come. But it was still 3 orcs, and 3, as you already noticed, I have way too hard time to deal with them. So, yeah. I did show you the full fight, and the simple reason is I wanted you to understand how annoyingly long and hard the fights actually are that I'm not showing you, especially the ones with 2 or even 3 enemies. Now I obviously finished the last one. As you can see in the sped up version, I cleared up some patrols by themselves, and of course the caster that for some reason was staying there instead of coming to chase me. Now my plan did work really well against any foes by kiting, jumping down to create distance and kiting more. But our first boss has appeared. Luckily this dungeon technically have 2 last bosses, I guess. Even the game itself doesn't know which is the last boss in this dungeon. I mean, in retail the last boss is Gervos, while the achievement says the last boss is Felgard guy, Tamagombo, whatever his name. But it was our first boss challenge. And now let's see if the kiting actually works against him as well as against any enemy. And it worked flawlessly. I mean, as flawless as you can think. If you don't look at the part when I sacrificed my pet, and even with sacrificial shield the boss almost just one-tapped me, it worked pretty good, huh? I mean, yeah, I almost died there, but everything went as planned, and as you can see, the boss is dead. Now, for the challenge to actually be done, I have to defeat every last boss of every dungeon. Now, since because of WoW Retail, I have zero idea who is the last boss, because, for example, the achievement you gain is from Tamagom, but if you do a dungeon finder, the dungeon will be done once you kill Gervos. So I decided to actually say hello to him as well. Although it was not as simple as I thought, because, oh boy, there were so many 2 and 3 packs of orc teams before the boss, and this one just almost got me. Not because if this 3 was actually harder or anything, but because how I managed to mess up so badly that I actually almost died. But luckily I brought the school, and with the school I managed to survive. Although it was a one-time use, sadly, and I can't use it anymore. That was it, no more school. He did his job though, and I will never forget what he did for me. Once I defeated them, I ran back and started the next fight, although I realized something. Respawns. There are 2 types of respawns in dungeon. The normal one, when the normal mobs just respawn after, I don't know, maybe after 3 hours or so, but the patrol respawn, which actually respawns way faster, and the patrols started to respawn, which means I have to or be really careful with kiting, or just finish it really quickly. And as for Gervos, I will just let you watch the fight. The only thing I'm gonna say that Gervos also has a damage over time effect, so the enemy orc that he's with has Curse of Agony, while he has Immolation, so even if I'm kiting right, I'm still dying thanks to the damage over time. Well, enjoy. fight went well. Even though the damage, the overtime effect almost killed me, and the petrol respawning during the fight and joining the fight, it still went well, and the boss finally died. After that, I went back. I wanted to see another boss, Bezalan. I didn't need to kill him, but hey, an extra challenge doesn't hurt. Now I managed to find this weird way to climb up to skip some trash, and I also leveled up during the next fight. Hooray, level 19. Now I was checking the next group, which looked nightmarish. I tested out the jump so I can kite during the fight, and yeah, I got stuck. As you can see, I tried to get out for so long, but I just got stuck. So all I could do is just give up and Hearthstone away. But hey, I did the challenge, so I guess we finished. Is what a quitter would say. Of course, I waited for the Zeppelin. I get up to the Zeppelin. I landed in Ogrimmar, and I slowly but surely walked back into the dungeon. And once I was there, I was ready to see the response or that the dungeon resetted. I stood there shocked, because if I didn't know if it was a respawn or a reset. Because if it's a reset, I could not do it anymore because I leveled up to level 19, which makes the challenge not viable, since I can only do the dungeons between the levels that the dungeon finder says, which is between 13 and 18. If it was a reset, I just could not do it again. And sadly, I just couldn't kill Bazalom, even though I was certain that I could have, but I couldn't go back to it because I got stuck. Fun. But the challenge was done. After all, I killed the last boss. Now I needed to level up to 24 before I reach Wailing Caverns, our next destination of dungeons. Also, it didn't really much happen during the leveling. I mean, I met this quest which just constantly spawning centaurs. I have no idea why, but it kept aggroing me even though I had to kill an elite there. So yeah, it was kinda close, I almost died there, but I mean, nothing really happened. On the second time I killed him easily, so that was that. Now I did level up my first aid as well, which taught me anti-venom, which to be honest I never used and I was never thinking about it, but it cures a poison, and for some reason in this run I thought it might be useful, so I crafted some. Now while leveling I also met these weird parts. I was pulling out a gnoll, just so you know, I don't accidentally pull any other things, after all I'm kind of fragile without a gear. It just ran back, even though I was fighting him. And that's because there was a second gnoll there which was stuck and evaded the situation, and for some reason, because they are chained, the other gnoll gets evaded. So I went back in, I figured that I'm going inside since I don't want it to evade, and of course that was a booby trap, because everything in that castle just aggroed onto me. That was a close call. I was running for my life, but of course, because for some reason the respawn time is like 2-3 minutes, everything respawned behind me. But luckily, they are undeads. Well, unluckily because I can't fear them, but luckily they are undeads, because undeads can't swim. So I quickly headed to the ocean, or lake, or whatever it was around, and I survived. It was close, but I did survive. Now you might ask, if I'm naked, why am I playing so dangerously? Why am I not playing cautiously? Why did I go into the castle? And for simply, I'm bored. It's still grinding, and grinding is boring for me, so I try to spice it up. Yeah, it's not really a good idea if I want to leave, huh? And during the quest I found something weird. I was drainsoning a spider, and for some reason the drainsaw just stopped. I didn't know why, but I noticed something. So I quickly grabbed another 2 spiders there where I was questing, and I tested out something. I put the spider down to almost no health, I drain life to full health one, and once the no health spider died, the drainsaw just stopped. I didn't get a soul shard, it just interrupted my drainsaw, but I got the tenant effect, which is the mana regeneration. So for some reason in this game, The talent makes you cancel your Drain Soul if something happens to die that is in combat with you. What kind of coding is this? I don't understand. Maybe it's a known thing in the World of Warcraft Classic veterans, but I didn't know that. That was weird. Although, of course, I used it a lot of time because I didn't want to throw out soul shards out of my bag, but still, this is weird. Now, you might have noticed that I picked up two professions, skinning and herbalism. Now, I dropped skinning and I picked up alchemy. And the reason I picked alchemy, because it gives stats like health, intellect, defense, stats that I'm missing from gears. Now, it doesn't give that much, but I need every little stats that I can get to help me throughout the journey because, oh boy, they are getting close to one hitting me. Now, most people would have picked engineering, but I don't need damage or CC and stuff like that. I just need stats. Now, you might ask, why did I pick skinning if I just dropped it? And here's the reason.
Oh yeah.
Now I did pick up cooking as well, the same reason as alchemy, stats. So I started grinding boars for meat. Now you may ask that, but Rupi, I thought you dislike grinding. Yes. But also you might ask that, but Rupi, if you dislike grinding, why are you doing it? Once I finished grinding, I learned how to cook clam meat, which gives me 4 stamina and 4 spirits. Nice. Also, this weird interaction happened, like, don't ask me how I got into this situation, I have no idea, it just happened, and I don't understand this game, and for some reason, because you guys love this game so much, I'm just gonna let you watch this part, because I have no idea what's going on. Like questing, I found a new herb, grave moss, which doesn't sound too anything special, especially for people that don't play this game, but trust me, this saved my life in the future. And just wanted to mention this, I found this here. Just keep that in mind. Now I did unlock a new companion by questing, which is Summon Succubus. As you might notice that Critical Tango is really tanky but no damage. Well, Succubus is kinda the opposite. It's good damage but nothing tanky about it. And you might ask that why would I use this? I need to survive, I need tank, and trust me, this Succubus have a huge role in the future. Now I managed to reach level 24, which made me learn an additional rank on Corruption and also Drain Mana, which drains, well, mana. And I also learned the most useless thing in the game, Drain Soul additional rank, like it already does no damage, so increasing the damage is like multiplying by 0, but also increase the mana cost like 3 times more. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna use this. What's the point of it? That's not the purpose of this spell. Why would... Also, here's my talent setup. You might have noticed that I'm pretty much building like a glass cannon, like no survivability but damage. And I have a simple reason for it. I can't survive anything. So I truly inspired myself to learn the zigzag way, me die or you die. But before going to the dungeon, I clearly started grinding clam meat to cook clam, so I can have 4 stamina 4 spirit. Yes, grinding again. Yeah. And you might ask, wow, you're grinding so much. You probably like the grinding. Don't talk to me. Now I realized that I have never summoned my queen Succubus companion, so here she is. Say hello to Fiona. Now for experienced WoW players, here's my inventory that I thought I'm gonna bring, but for other people I wanted to say I also learned 2 other spells, pet spells, which is Sacrifice and Suffering. Sacrifice just gives me a higher amount of absorption when I sacrifice my Tango, but Suffering is an AoE threat generator, which is amazing. I'm so glad I get this ability before I go into Wailing Caverns. Also, I brought Slumbers and Sticky Glue, which is just a 20-second sleep if you don't damage them, and a 10-second root. But most importantly, this was a quest reward. I cannot get any more of these, so I only have 5 and 10, and I cannot find it. Or at least I don't think you can find it. If I'm wrong, tell me, I don't know. But as far as I know, you can find these. Now when I entered the dungeon, or at least the outdoor of it, I quickly did some trolling and I just hit the critical toad, and for some reason it reduced my stamina by 2. Like, what the Now the outdoor of the dungeon wasn't an easy task. Like, everything was an elite, and half of it was or in stealth or patrolling all the time. Like, for example, I was fighting here just the innocent goblin thingy and a slug egg root. And you would say, it's too early, I can handle that. But 1, I cannot kite, I have no place to kite. And 2, the slug decided to also summon another slug elite. Like, they are duplicating themselves. These are our elites. If outdoor is this difficult already, what's gonna be inside? Now I finally managed to enter the dungeon, and we already met our first enemy that's actually difficult. A slug. I don't know what's wrong with slugs, why are they so difficult, but another slug joined the fight. And what does he do? Well, he changes color. What does that mean? He's immune to that skull, that spell type. And whenever he decides to be black and purplish thing, he's immune to shadow, which is like 90% of my spell. Like the damage over time effects, but everything. And but most importantly, the fear, my crowd control. Whenever you see them run around all the time, he gonna be immune to that. And of course, nothing bad gonna happen in the future with this, right? Now I decided to skip the beginning and jump down and go left because of respawn time. My biggest concern is respawn thanks to the previous dungeon, and because I have to return to the beginning for the last boss, I decided to actually just ignore that for now and start with the left side. We also met a new enemy type, a snake, which may say that it's not that big of a deal, but they hit hard and they poison my pet. Like Critical Tango almost died. You can see his health, like that was just one enemy. I wanted to show you why I love suffering here. Like, I just sent my pet in, I used suffering, and nothing ever went to me. Everyone kept attacking my Tango, and it's amazing, I can just kill everything. Also, I didn't talk about, but this is Druid of the Claw, which I already killed some, but it wasn't that interesting, but they will be really interesting later on. They have 3 important abilities. Healing Touch, which just heals them. Slumber, which makes me or my pet fall asleep for 20 seconds, which is a huge amount of time. And Turn Snake Form, which makes them pretty deadly once they are in melee and hitting you. So yeah, they're kinda strong. So I managed to pull 2 snakes at once, and just to demonstrate how strong the snakes are, I wasn't joking. Here, watch this fight. Once I defeated them, I confidently went forward, and now you can understand in this game why I dislike patrolling enemies, because holy hell, they are unfair. This fight became way more complicated than it had to be, but finally I finished the last one, and I started to realize that I kind of hate snakes now. I never had problem with them, but I do now. I don't like snakes. Also, this next bug looks disgusting. I was thinking, how the hell am I gonna actually do this? Like, they're just gonna heal themselves up. The druid of the fang will just heal the snake up, heal himself up. I have no way to defeating them. But something magical happened. Something I didn't know is a thing in this game. One of the patrol, the druid of the fang, just ran away because of the fear, but once he reached the next group, and yeah, I cursed so recklessly so he stopped running away, he pulled the snake from the group, but only the snake. It's kind of weird to explain, but it's a social aggro type of thing. Whenever an enemy runs away, he calls for help. But because he didn't run all the way through, because I stopped it in the midway of talking to them, I guess, he only pulled one. And that was like a blessing. Because the next group was so difficult, I was thinking so hard how am I gonna pass, that pulling one snake out of it made my life so much easier. Now without the snake, that group was trivial, I easily defeated them, and I finally reached our first boss, which I kind of thought I'm not even gonna put in, and I'm not even gonna use it in the video, because, like, this isn't a boss, this is just Druid of the Fang, but with more health. Like, it's fearable, yeah, it does more damage, and yeah, it has more health, like, but who cares? Like, it's fearable, you just kill it, like, nothing special happened. I'm not even gonna put music on this one, nothing happened. I mean, here you go, you can watch it, but this was just a boring boss fight. Now I'm gonna say something. The reason I'm killing this boss is, for anyone who doesn't know in this dungeon, for you to summon the last boss, you have to kill all leader of the Druid of the Fangs, which has 4. Like this guy, Lady Anaconda, Lord Serpentis, and Lord Python, or whatever his name is. So the point is, I need to kill this 4, then kill the last boss, and yeah, we did the dungeon. But yeah, that's it. But once I finally defeated it, it actually dropped my first blue item. Wow! I hope some of you watering over this build, because I cannot use it, and nor will I use it if I could. And here you go. Now you venture towards the right side of this dungeon, and if you thought Druid of the Fang is already an OP enemy or the snake, meet Shambler. Now Shambler is an interesting one, because he also heals, and not even a weak one. He puts a healing overtime effect, which doesn't heal him instantly, but it heals so much every 3 seconds, it completely nullifies all my damage overtime effect. It literally heals them off. They are so strong. Now, welcome to the nightmare, when it's combined with also Druid of the Fang. I mean, you can watch this fight. It's horrible. I have to separate them, I have to fear them, I have to make sure that the pet doesn't die while I kill one of them. It was horrible. Now if you were interested in how strong the healing overtime effect is, just watch his health. He managed to cast it, and none of my damage overtime pretty much do anything. Also, I pulled a slug because they patrol everywhere. Amazing, and I almost died to it. one slug almost ended my deathless run. That would be kinda sad, or tragic, or whatever you wanna call it. Also, I managed to pull afterwards another great pull where I actually had to run out of the dungeon. But while running out of the dungeon, remember what I told you about Ragefire Chasm? That there are two types of enemy in this dungeon. One that has a respawn time of a normal like 3 hours or so, and the patrol ones. And surprise surprise, the slugs are patrols. And for some reason all of them already respawned. I mean, it wasn't that long. Why are they already alive? Anyway, I got out of the dungeon, but yeah, I can finally kill the patrol again for the second time. Nice. And I did manage to reach the next boss, which I was also the most scared of, because for some reason this boss have one of the strongest enemies in this dungeon, a Druid of the Fang and the Shambler, all together with the boss. And the boss, also a Druid of the Fang, so he also heals, or he also sleeps. Like, I had no hope of defeating them, naked at least. I mean, even with gear, I'm pretty sure I would have a hard time to do it, but naked? 3 elites that just heal themselves all the time, CC me, and like, I just had no hope. But an idea came. I learned something in this dungeon, an interesting fact, that I decided to try to use it here.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
Yep, I decided to use the janky part of the game against the game itself. Social aggro, weirdly. I managed to pull only the Shambler out of that group while having a weak Druid of the Fang. Although the fight still was kinda difficult, because, I mean, I let my pet die beforehand. But my plan worked. All I had to do is just win somehow. And after that, once I finally defeated the Shambler, only the boss stood in front of me. Now, yeah, against the boss I managed to pull an extra Druid of the Fang in the middle of the fight, which is the same Druid of the Fang that I pulled beforehand. Yeah, now that I think about it back, I should have killed him. But I mean, I was racing a respawn time, so I had to skip as much as I could, so worth the risk, I guess. After a long cat and mouse chase, as you saw, I finally defeated the boss. Probably the hardest part of the dungeon. At least that's what I thought at the time when I was fighting it, because after that I couldn't figure out any other boss that's harder than this one. Well, it didn't live for long, because after that I managed to pull something so difficult that I almost died to it. I mean, it was just Shambler and the Druid of the Fang. Obviously I separated them by letting the pet tank the Shambler while I off with the Druid of Fang and killing him. But when I called my pet up back he brought me a surprise, a slug, which is still my favorite unit, thanks to being immune to shadow most of the time, and I couldn't fear him, and because he was hitting me, I couldn't heal my pet, and my pet almost died. Ah, that part was so close of me to die that you could not imagine. But I managed, I survived, but I quickly realized that because I probably defeated the hardest boss, it doesn't mean I can't die. And yeah, I played pretty carefully after that. And because I had to run out, meet slug number 3. I really love slugs and petros, and I definitely want to kill him the third time. And now that we're finally reaching the end of the dungeon, meet the new enemy, Dreadfang. Which, if you thought the snake hit hard, hell, guess again, he just hit my pet for 41 damage. That's insane, like, that's double the damage of any enemy so far I fought. 41 is such a huge number at this level, and not just that, if there is someone in melee range who is not the primary target, he casts an AoE fear around him. So once I got the aggro, the pet is feared away. Or if I'm getting too close to it while the pet is holding it, I am feared away. That's a great enemy, huh? Also, to show you how janky this game is, this Druid of the Fang just became here, like, it wasn't a respawn, it just spawned here, like, out of nowhere. Why? Ask the game, not me. You guys are the one that love this game for some reason. Also, here's another showcase how ridiculously strong Dreadfangs are. He was paired with the Druid of the Fang, and once I finally finished Druid of the Fang, Dreadfang almost finished Tengu. Like, my god. Dude, Tengu is not that weak. Even though he is gearless like me, he packs a punch. He can take a hit. But this guy just annihilated him. Well, almost. And we meet a new boss that I can actually skip, but I decided to fight because he's in the way of kiting. And if you thought the first boss was a joke by being a Druid of the Fang but bigger, meet Scum. Yeah, like, I'm not even gonna show the fight. This is it. I was just standing because it was just tickling me while dying. But yeah, cool boss. Then I slowly and safely cleared the way to the next boss. To be honest, nothing to show there. I pretty much pulled one by one, and if it was two, it was just they died like normally, so nothing else. Here's the next box with one sneaky boy, and like every other, I guess, Druid of the Fang, he does the same. Although he heals stronger, I admit that. But I guess that's about it. Nothing special. I mean, you can watch the fight. I'm gonna leave it in. Yeah, the whole boss fight was to find a solution how to chain fear him without pulling anything so he cannot heal himself. I mean, his heal was incredibly high, but that's all about it. Now for the next boss, most people say this is the tank killer. He just wants to shot everything. This is a real boss. This is so strong that people are scared of him. So I decided the best solution, how to deal with it. Yeah, if you didn't know, I only need the Druid of the Fang and the last boss, so I don't need to kill this one. Now that I find him back at the entrance, meet Guardian, which is nothing special, but once his life goes to 20%, he calls for help, which means everything in his radius will come and help and be combat with me. So I tried to pull him into the water, but yeah, he cannot swim, so he just evaded. Whoops. So as you can see in the chat, he called for help, but I pulled him so far away that no one could... Wait, why am I still in combat? I already killed him. Oh shit. So I started running away because I don't know what happened, but I was still in combat. I was scared for the worst. And oh boy was I right, because the huge army was following me. So I went back to the water since I already learned that they evade there, because they can't swim, and I quickly got out of combat. And now we can just watch a whole tour of enemies that try to kill me, and for some reason now they are just blind-eyed and just walk by while I'm looking at them, how nicely they were ready to kill me, yet they don't see me anymore. But now we understand why Guardians are actually kind of dangerous in this place, so I have to be carefully clearing them. And let me tell you, this part was a torturous grind. I'm not joking, this clip is sped up by 20, multiplied by 20. It took so long, and the whole clip I'm showing, it's not even the whole thing, it's like the 1/3 of the thing I cleared, because I decided I have to clear the whole place here. Why? You will see. But oh boy, I'm gonna die. It was so boring, and I had to play so carefully because of the Guardian. I have to pull them back slowly, one by one, so they don't call for help. And of course the Slug Petros respawn, not even once, but twice. While I was clearing, I had to kill them again. Twice. This is the 4th and the 5th time that I killed them. I'm so annoyed by these slugs already. But it's done. Also, I found the last lady? What am I talking about? The Druid of the Fang, Lady Anaconda, and I mean, you can certify it. It's just a Druid. Again, it's just the Druid of the Fang. It's not a boss, it's just a big Druid of the Fang. Wow, amazing, dead, good, all 4 of them dead. Now I can actually go for the last boss. But before I do, I wanna clear up, because on the way to summon it, there is a stupid Fury Druid who wants to save his Fury sleeping. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed how grindy this game is. Yeah. I'm fine. But finally, once I finished, I went back to the Druid and started the last boss event. I don't know how you say it. Now the event wasn't as simple as you think. It's not just walk with the 30 to the next 30. Enemies actually try to kill him. Like the first wave here, just 2 dinosaurs, nothing special. At least this guy is actually strong and can tank one and deal decent damage, so 2 wasn't as bad as you think it would have been. Now the next wave looked strong, especially there were snakes, and 3 of them, but again, the druid is kinda strong, so 1 was tanked by my pet, 1 was just running around like a fool, and the druid actually held pretty well against the 3rd one, so yeah, once again, not really that difficult, but that was the last part of the not difficult part. Now that we finally managed to reach the destination, our furry friend just decided to stun himself, pretty much. Like, he does nothing, he just stands there and he summons 3 snakes, and the 3 snake wants to kill him, but he doesn't do anything. So this time I actually have to deal with 3 snakes by myself. Now, that's the reason pretty much I cleared the whole place, because I knew because of this event I need every space I can get, because holy hell, 3 snakes is a lot. And that's not the worst part, because once I deal with the 3 snakes, the next wave immediately spawned, and I knew even if I finally defeat this 3 snake, they're just gonna tear me apart because I have no health and no mana. So I needed a solution, and yep, I realized what's my best trait, what am I the best at? Running. So I brought down to 20% health and ran. And for the reason I brought down to 20% health, if you don't know this game, if an enemy reaches 20% health or below, the movement speed significantly reduces. So much so that I was actually faster than him, so I could kite him till my health and mana and critical tango is back. Now, yeah, this is a weird solution, but a solution is a solution for me, and then I needed a solution, so I'm solutioning over this solution. So yeah, it's a good solution for me. Now, of course, the next hit had to be slugs, like what else would be? But I mean, it's just like 2 or 3. I can deal with it. Oh my god, I quickly sent my pet to this goddamn furry AoE talented, because they were actually killing him so fast that, well, I had so much luck to deal with it. But here comes the part that I cleared this place for. I think, yep, I'm just gonna jump down and run half a circle and then jump again and run a half a circle again. I don't care how cheesy this is. I don't care how boring this is. I had to figure out a solution to it, and I knew if I just stand there and let them hit me, I'm just gonna die. There's no way I can win. So yeah, you might not like this solution, but I don't care. My whole point is to defeat the last boss, and I will do anything in my power, even if I have to use every type of cheese, even if I have to use the game itself against the game because of his jankiness and bugginess. I don't care. I will use it. You know why? Because the challenge point is to defeat every dungeon boss, last dungeon boss, and be naked. There is no other rule. It doesn't mean I cannot cheese or use the game. I don't care. It worked. And that's about it. And once I finally finished with the slugs, it was time for the last boss. Now, you already might have noticed that I'm pretty much doing nothing and summon Imp. And you, probably confused by that. Why? And let me tell you why. He is immune to Shadow. Yes, he is immune to 90% of my toolkit. He is immune to critical tangos, aggro generation, he is immune to all my damage over time. All I can do is just immolate and Searing Pain, which is a pretty weak spell. Yes, this is our last boss, a shadow immune asshole. Great! It's gonna take so long to just kill this boss. And not just that, I made a mistake. It got close to me. I jumped down, it stunned me, and for some reason, if you're stunned, gravity just doesn't work in this game. Why? I don't know. I really don't know. But because of that, I was in the air, the boss evaded and healed himself up. Yes! Great! Now I can start all over again. I'm so happy. And hold and behold, for no surprise for anyone, here's Slug again. Yeah. I hate you. I wish you weren't a thing. I'm so angry that he joined the fight as well. We already fought 6 or 7 times. Just you and me. I'm not counting any other slug, any other patrol, just you. And you're again here. You just can't leave me alone. Anyway, the fight was extremely boring since I was kited. Once I found a good position where I can actually cast some spell on it, I did. And the fight was over. I did it. Second dungeon, last boss dead. It's finally over. Still 0 death. I haven't died yet. I don't know how. There were so many cases I should have died. But it's over. Now, the boss dropped actually a really amazing blue ring. Can you see that? And I immediately wanted it, so I was thinking how to get it. So yeah, I just dropped out this blue belt or whatever. Who needs that to grab the ring? So yeah, also drop it out, yeah, because I cannot figure, so I just wanted to taunt you with this, yeah. Then I finally, for the end, our two furry friends, I saw them fly away in a bird form. They finally became what they wanted, a true furry. Although birds don't have fur, so are they furry or what are they? Can someone explain? I left dungeon and I turned in the dungeon quest and look at this stuff. 7 stamina, 7 intellect and 7 spirit. Just on a stick. It's better than all my consumables together. It would give me such a huge boost, just look at my stats. Oh well, there's only one thing to do. While questing outdoor, one enemy just showed me why gear is important. Oh yeah, maybe the game is just unbalanced and probably that's the case, but yeah, gear would probably have here not losing half of my life by just one instant spell that you cannot dodge. Also, this game secretly helps companies that sell glasses, because there is no way that they expected you to see this with your own eyes. I searched it for so long, you can see it in my cursor because I knew something was there, the cursor told me, but it's just impossible to see. You can't tell me they are not secretly working with companies that sells glasses. I wonder how many people actually bought glasses because of this quest. Before I headed to the next dungeon, I checked some vendors and I bought a Holy Protection Potion and a Shadow Protection Potion. I didn't know if I need them or not, but it's good absorption against a specific school type, so I might as well bought it because who knew? Maybe the dungeon will use the specific school type and this potion will save me. I started venturing towards the next dungeon, but it was dangerous. There were so many high-level enemies and elites as well. But with one simple trick, I saved my life. Spamming tab. Man, I'm so good at spamming one button. I mean, you should do it. It saved my life and probably would save yours. Before I headed to the dungeon, I quickly checked my add-ons. Yes, boomer daddies, I use add-ons. Get over it. We are in the modern time, not in the 2000 whatever. But all jokes aside, I do not use add-ons really. Even in Rintel, I just only use the necessary for raid leading. Now without a problem I managed to enter the dungeon, but I quickly realized my first mistake and my first problem. They are grey enemies, and if you don't know what grey enemies mean, they are really low level compared to you. Usually that means it's easy to kill, but from grey enemies I cannot gain Soul Shard. Soul Shard is something I need to use like summon Critical Tango or use a Snot Candy to heal myself up, and I only brought 7. So every time I make a mistake letting Tango die, I have to eat my snot. I lost that Soul Shard and I cannot get it back. Now my way towards the first boss was nothing special, everything came one by one or being non-elites, like even the elites were pretty easy, like look at this old man, he's just casting fire on the ground, that's it, I mean, I could just move out before he finishes the cast, so yeah. Now when I came here I was thinking like this dungeon is gonna be so much easier than the previous one, and we met our first boss. Although my first boss went pretty badly because I put 2 extra elites behind him, I checked if the boss can be feared and surprise surprise, this was immune, which kind of surprised me because usually first boss aren't immune to crowd control. Now going back, I cleared out everything before the boss and tried to find a way to guide him or to be in a place where it doesn't actually get me, since if I cannot crowd control him and my pet won't actually hold aggro forever, he's just gonna kill me. But alas, I did not find anything. Well, then I thought I'm gonna just give it a shot, maybe the boss isn't that strong, and I started fighting, and the thing happened that I told you gotta happen. I over-aggroed the boss, and of course he would just instantly kill me. I had to sacrifice my pet to run out of the dungeon and eat my snot. Minus those Soul Shard. Nice. Now of course I went back to try again, and this time I let my pet just fight and generate as much aggro before I actually started attacking the boss. But new problem occurred, which is I cannot out-heal his damage. The boss slowly but surely was killing my pet, even though I was constantly healing it, making it once again losing critical tangle one more time and -1 social. I did try it next time and I used Curse of Weakness, which is just a curse that makes the boss deal less damage, but once again, wasn't enough. The boss almost killed my tango, but luckily I managed to save before I lose my soul shard again. I was stun-locked. I could not believe that the first boss was actually stopping me. I couldn't kite, I couldn't do anything. He was just stronger than me. I gave it another shot, which pretty much just I fully min-maxed the fight. I counted out how long my pet should fight without me interfering, so I wouldn't take his aggro before it was too early or too late, since at 20% I can take actually the aggro because he will be slow enough to kite, but I also had to count how long I have to kite because I don't have that much terrain to kite back, so I managed to do that. I figured out that I might need to use Curse of Weakness throughout the fight without using a Curse of Agony as a damage over time, because I can only have one curse, meaning I have to count out when will I take the aggro with only Immolation and Corruption. I counted out how many times I have to call back the pack to just avoid one auto attack. It was so min-maxed out because I had no other idea how can I actually defeat this boss. And even though the fight looks extremely boring and nonchalant, like nothing is happening, but trust me, there was so much math behind that idea, and I did it. It was tooth and nails, but it worked. I was still stronger than this boss if I min-maxed, and my god, this was the first boss. I really underestimated this dungeon. I really did. I thought Wailing Caverns will be so much harder just because of that Lord Python guy that had a Shambler and a Druid of the Fang. But no, already the first boss showing so much trouble. And if this boss had this difficult already, I can't even imagine how hard Mr. Smite or even Edwin Van Cleef gonna be. And I only have 4 soul shard. Did I mess up? Is this it? Did I fail the challenge? I came unprepared and looks like this is gonna be it. Well, of course I did not back down. I'm not someone that just quits because it looks impossible. I straight went ahead and fought the next duel that was next to the boss. But already I got a new surprise. I totally forgot about this, but once you actually defeat a boss, behind the boss where you came from, a patrol will spawn, and not just one, but a group. In this case it was 2 enemy elites. I totally forgot about this. I almost messed up, and of course I had to run out because I was already fighting 2 elites and the 2 new one came. That was completely my fault. I just forgot about this. Even though it was not a problem to run out, the problem was saving Tango, and I could not afford to lose another soul shard. I did my best to make sure that Tango survives. And I did, but oh boy, there was so many close calls of him dying. I dealt with the patrol and everything towards the next boss with ease. I mean, so far nothing was really challenging in the trash part of the section other than surprise patrol, but that almost got me, and on to the next boss. Sneed. Now Sneed wasn't as scary as the first boss simply because I had way more room to kite back to the entrance, and he also had lower life. Now, although the problem with Sneed that once he dies, the goblin Sneed itself comes out as a boss as well, so technically 2 bosses. But luckily there is a simple trick to it. Once you kill the robot, you just run out of the dungeon or just be out of range so the goblin doesn't aggro. Yay. Now I know this fight looks as interesting as the first one, and trust me, it was actually boring because I didn't actually have to min-max this fight because once again it didn't do as much damage as the first boss, and also it had less health, so I could easily kill him. But surprise, I got a surprise in this fight, as you might see soon enough. Do you remember what I told you, what type of enemies there are in this dungeon? There are two types of respawns. One that's just a normal respawn and one just a petrol respawn. You know there is a petrol that spawned after the first boss, right? I don't get it, to be honest. I wasn't in this dungeon for so long that it should respawn, but they respawned. Yeah, thanks for the surprise, I guess. I really needed extra 2 additional elites against the boss fight. Now Critical Tango did perish, and I also had to eat my snot, which made me lose 2 soul shard, and I also had to use one of my roots, which is a limited item, but mission success, I guess. The boss died. Or at least that's what I thought. Sneed died at the address of the dungeon, which means the goblin spawned in front. I could not avoid it, I had to fight him. And for some reason this goblin just hits like a truck. Like, the damage he does is so insane. My critical tango couldn't survive more than like a minute. I had no chance of tanking him and killing him, even though it didn't have that much health. I couldn't, and there was no room for me to kite. I was stuck at the entrance. I got so self-locked there because I killed the boss at the worst possible place I could have. I had to take a risk. There was only one way for me to defeat him, and that's kiting. I went behind him, and I knew what type of risk I'm taking since the petrol is still there and still alive. But I had no other option to actually go through him. So what I did, I went behind him, did my usual thing, and I kited towards the petrol. Yep, I sacrificed Tango, but I managed to get the soul shard from the boss, so I guess it was even. I feared, I kited back, and Sneed was finally dead, and I survived the petrol. Now if you remember, I told you that a petrol will spawn after every boss. Well, not technically, it's the first 3 bosses, but yeah, Sneed is dead, which means an additional petrol group is patrolling. But luckily it took so much time that the patrol actually came in front instead of behind of me. But since time is extremely important in dungeons, because I have to kill every boss before respawns, I decided I let them walk by instead of fighting. Definitely not gonna bite me in the back. Oh, and here they are while I was fighting. Yep, who would have thought that's gonna happen? Now I ran out, reset the fight, killed the patrol, learned my mistake. But for that mistake it cost me another soul shard. Only 1 left. I have only 1 soul shard left. I was devastated, and it was my fault to losing another one here, but 1 soul shard throughout the whole dungeon, that just sounds insane. Now I managed to reach the next room where the boss is, and it's filled with goblins. And they are not weak goblins. There are 2 types of goblins, engineer and craftsman. Now craftsman has an ability. They hit hard, and they also put a dot on every melee, and also minus movement speed, but it hurts. You can see it in the first fight. My tango was suffering, and there was no way I can lose it. I don't have a soul shard, but they almost killed him. But I learned something. It's only in melee, and it's a castable spell. So if I time it right and I watch for it, if I pull back critical tango before he finishes the cast, he can avoid the damage over time effect. Now the other one is the engineer, which is a ranged enemy, so he doesn't really like to fight in melee, but most importantly he summons robots, pets. Now the problem with this guy He's immune to taunt, he is immune to threat generation, so yeah, if I start killing the robots, Tango will lose aggro and the robot will attack me. So I have no way to hold aggro with Tango if I wanna kill it. But luckily, once you wait enough time, the robot just despawns. Yeah, I guess so. All I just have to do is kite him while I kill the main guy. Okay, I take it. Now the whole place was filled with goblins that were actually moving around, so it was really easy to pull more than you want, but I luckily didn't fail and I just pulled one by one. Except one time I pulled two, but still wasn't that difficult, so I just cleared the place out without a problem. Now on to our third boss, Gilnid. Well, Gilnid wasn't that big of a deal. It had a craftsman goblin with it, which made it a little bit harder, but you could just chain fear him by you deal with Gilnid. He didn't have that much health, nor did as much damage like the first one, like pretty much the half of it damage. Although he did have the same ability as Craftsman, which was way more impossible to avoid, and it did hurt, so I did have to sacrifice Tango Critical for it, but luckily he was level 20, which means he isn't grey anymore, but green, which means I can get a soul shard, so I got even with it. And I just simply killed him on my first try. It wasn't anything special. Probably this boss was so far the easiest one out of the three because, I don't know, balancing didn't exist in Classic World of Warcraft, I guess. So yeah, I just dealt with the boss and then I killed Craftsman as well. But if you remember, after the boss dies, as I said, first, second and third, another patrol will spawn. But this time it was actually 3 elites at once, and it wasn't weak ones, they were different ones that you saw in the previous patrols. Now I already know them, they are sharpshooters and wizards, but they are definitely stronger than the previous groups, so what I did is just let them walk by. Again, you would think that, oh my god, you should have learned, you're gonna aggro them, but no, I actually was extra careful not to do that, because there was no way I'm gonna deal with this patrol at all. Now once I managed to reach the end, I finally reached outside of the cave, the ship, and we have new enemies, pirates, which to be honest, they nothing special. Sometimes they have a pirate, but who cares, they just die. But while I was killing my first pirate and eating his corpse for health, of course, I noticed something. I accidentally fell down, and when I did that, my pet moved, but not towards me, towards a weird place, and it got my attention, and I will explain it later why is that, but for now, let's focus on something else. A level 20 enemy! You know what that means? I can finally get soul shards. I can finally have, because I have already 0, I don't have the slot, I had nothing, so I was so happy, and I of course blew up the first one, but luckily he wasn't the only one. They finally started appearing and I got soul shard. I was so happy, I actually managed to find a place where I can farm soul shard. The run wasn't dead, I managed it. Now back to the thing what I said about the pet. What you need to know, the pet is an AI movement, or the same as the enemy. If my pet wants to go to me, but it goes towards a weird way, that means it should also work on the enemy. So on the next pirate, I tried it out and it did work. For some reason, where I fell down, I can go up with no problem, but the enemy doesn't have a path to go there, so they actually go around trying to get me, making it kinda impossible for them to actually reach me. And that was actually huge, because that solved a huge problem for me, which is the next boss. Now also there's a new enemy, which is Squall Shaper, which is not that much of a problem, but they do hit hard from ranged, so I had to play carefully not to have too low amount of health before you just instant spam me with fire blast or whatever it's called, with I mean, it deals like 130 damage. That's a lot. Now for the next boss, Mr. Smite. Now, roughly I would say Mr. Smite as strong as the first boss, but that wasn't the catch. He had 2 enemy elites with him in stealth, which made the fight extremely difficult. Or at least that's what I thought when I actually entered the dungeon, but thankfully we found a new way to deal with this problem, which you already saw before, jumping down and up at that weird location where the enemy cannot reach you. So yeah, the fight was anticlimactic. I just killed the 2 heads and then just jumped up them down with smites and just slowly but surely killed him. Yeah, I mean, occasionally he ran back to his ship to change weapon, but it didn't change anything. Like, I just dotted him, went back to the same place, played the same game again, and did it again. And yeah, that's Mr. Smite for you, and he's just that. Cool. Good boss fight. Now after that, the most important thing happened. I cleared up to the ship and this dropped. A macaw. Finally, some upgrade that I cannot use. Well, technically, I mean, it's still a cosmetic, but I just take everything as an upgrade. Like, I have no satisfaction of getting gear. I have pretty much just bored. I can't get happy by anything that drops, but this one I can use, and I'm just gonna be happy. Although it did more damage than help, because there were so many times I thought I ninja pulled because out of nowhere in my screen there was a parrot, and I thought, oh no, I ninja pulled somewhere a pirate, but yeah, that didn't happen. The whole journey was pretty simple to the next boss. Once I reached the top of the ship, I managed to reach the next boss, Captain Greenskin, which also had a squall shaper with him, which is really dangerous, and also a pirate. This fight was nuts. I didn't know how to survive this pretty much. It was so hard looking, but I was so pumped. I was so ready to do such a difficult fight, and I wanted to do everything in my power to min-max to actually defeat this boss. And now only the final boss left, Edwin Van Cleef. But I mean, you know what's gonna happen, I'm just gonna pull it back and do the same thing. But I still wanted to talk about it because it wasn't as simple as you think. Edwin hits really hard, and I'm not joking. That jump isn't that easy as you think, and I can easily slip up. And once Edwin actually hits me, that's like more than 50% of my life. He really do so much damage and has life. Just one slip up and it's over. But that's not all. He also has 2 stealth minions, as you can see. But as same with Mr. Smite, you can deal with it before you start jumping. But the problem is, once he reaches 50% health, he summons additional 2. And if you do that wrong, summon at the wrong place, it could be just a GG. So even though the trick really helpful and pretty much gave me a chance to actually defeat him, the fight was not easy. I'm not gonna say anything more, I'm just letting you watch the fight this time, and I hope you are hoping that I'm actually winning and not dying. Thanks. And victory was mine. The third dungeon has been conquered and still no death, which I'm actually extremely surprised. But I take my spoils, which was actually a really strong one-handed weapon. Wish I could use that, but oh well. Well, back to leveling. Of course I'm not gonna show you the whole leveling. Most of them was just trivial things, nothing really happened, but I will show you the parts where or I almost died, or something happened, you know, something interesting. And there's the first thing, this quest. I had no problem questing, but this was the first one that actually got me, because I needed to place down a banner and protect it. Sure enough, sounds easy, but full-box non-stop came, like, without stop. I just couldn't handle it. They just overwhelmed me. And but yeah, they almost killed me. I got stuck there. I was thinking maybe I need to skip this quest. But for some reason, once I returned, the big guy that I needed to kill was just there. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to all the full-box that I was fighting. I have no idea why is this a thing, since I didn't protect the banner, so it's just there. I mean, I take it, I guess. First quest that was difficult, yet the most simple thing as well, I guess. I don't get it. I also have this part where I almost died, or at least it looks like I almost died, but everything was under control, don't worry. Other than the pull. The pull was, yeah, I didn't mean to pull this much, I just wanted to skip them, but other than that, everything was controlled. I know my health goes down pretty badly, and I know I took a lot of damage, but I like to use my health as a, well, as a currency pretty much, as a stat, as a resource. So yeah, I like to pull my health pretty low, but I know how much damage I'm gonna take. I can see when they're going to hit me or cast me. I can line of sight the cast. So even if it looks pretty bad, everything was handled. I just wanted to show you that I like to live dangerously. Also, there was also a close call here that I almost died. I had to go to this mine and kill this guy. Nothing biggie, but yeah, when I did that, I usually do this trick that I just pull and damage overtime them, but I did forget to put my pet on him or keep dotting him so it doesn't evade. And yeah, he evaded, but the respawn was also coming back from behind because yeah, and why is the still dwarfs here? I have no idea, but it's fine. I'm ready for it. My pet will out-taunt, get aggro. I didn't use any potion to... and I died. No, it was definitely my fault, like, no one has to be blamed, but it was mostly knowledge check. I don't know why the two dwarfs came, at least back then. Now I know because I checked it on the internet that guy summoned him. But what confused me, why didn't my pet work? Like, I did use suffering, like you can see it in the clip. I didn't use healing potion or any ability or snot candy or anything just to generate zero threat. Somehow my pet didn't gain a threat and it just caught me off guard. And even though I tried to react immediately, you can see as I die I press sacrifice, but it was just 1 nanosecond too late. Yeah, I died. And it kind of feels bad because I died. I died, yeah. I didn't even die in the dungeon, I just died outside. And yeah, it feels bad. What can I say? But I just actually want to know why didn't my pet work. So if anyone knows, please tell me, because I kind of want to avoid deaths like this. I just don't know why my pet didn't work. So yeah. Well, to kill some time, I went back to grinding clam meat from Murlocs to level up my cooking to 110 so I can cook bear meat. And of course, when I returned to Undercity, my cooking skill stopped at 109. Yeah. You know, I already died, so that's probably it. So, goodbye. You thought I abandoned the run, huh? No! Next day, I woke up and I went back to grinding. Grinding. Anyway, I went to the Celeste to farm Grave Moss. Do you remember that? I told you I will need it. Well, The internet told me Desolace is the best place to farm grave moss, which is bad because everything had like level 38, 39 enemies. Like, I went there to die a second time, but I didn't die this time. But I also didn't find a single grave moss. I don't know why the internet told me this. But the journey wasn't worthless, because I learned the next step up on cooking, so I could actually reach 175 to cook turtle meat. Now luckily my memory isn't the worst. After I was searching for grey moss all the time, I remember that I got one in Barrens. So I headed back to Barrens and hold and behold, there was another grey moss there. And it gave me 2, which made me able to craft 3 shadow protection potion. Which isn't that much, but I was hoping that's gonna be enough for the dungeon. Now I went back to farm higher level meats like 10G clam meat and turtle meat, and I also leveled up to 30, and I finally got Siphon Life, which is just another damage over time, pretty weak, but it also heals me. And it heals me the same amount as I get, as it costs, like 150 mana, and it heals for 150 over 30 seconds, so if you look at it that way, it's 3 because I convert my health into mana, so yep. Now one last time I pick everything that I wanna bring. This time I'm also bringing Swiftness Potion and every other potion that I brought so far but upgraded, and you can see it in my inventory, nothing special. Now the dungeon already starts with 2 enemies, which kind of difficult because I have no room to kite, and also they are wolves, which means they are fast, which means it's pretty hard to kite them. But I managed and cleared to the first boss. Now the first boss was anything, it was pretty much the same as a Druid of the Fang but elite, but this time it was a wolf but elite. It had 2 wolves, which kind of made it harder, but it's not as bad as like Shambler or a Druid of the Fang combo, which could heal. They were just fast and that's about it, so yeah, I just killed them. The boss was also fearable. The first boss was nothing special, but it just died. It was a no boss pretty much. And this is the first time we actually fight our weakness. There was a reason I was thinking about picking a mage instead of warlock, and those are undeads. Undeads are unfearable, and this dungeon has undeads, and not even low amount, but a decent amount. So undeads were kinda dangerous, but once again, they didn't do much. Well, if I pulled an undead at a beast, then of course I started killing the undead and fear the beast, but I just wanted to mention undeads are scary. Now the actual first enemy that got us stuck is Moonwalker, because they spam an ability called Anti-Magic Shield, and as you can guess, he's pretty much immune to any type of magic damage or crowd control, so I couldn't fail him, I couldn't deal damage to with damage over time, my pet couldn't generate aggro because that's also a spell, so yeah, I had to run away from them, but once the anti-magic shield was over, I pretty much just kept him in fear, so he doesn't have a chance to cast it again. It was annoying, but it almost killed us. Now, it took a lot of time to clear everything up, especially because of the anti-magic zone and groups of 2 undeads, which means I couldn't fear but kite them. It took a lot of time to clean, but I finally reached the second boss, which is also just an elite wolf, and you guessed it, it just died because it's fearable. Nice boss. Once I cleared up the diner, which was way easier because there was no more anti-magic zone wolves anymore, we managed to reach an actual first boss, which was also an undead, so it was definitely immune to fear, and it by himself wouldn't be that difficult, but he had another undead. So it was kinda, I was thinking like, how am I gonna do this? 2 undeads and one of them is boss is kinda hard. So I pulled the undead enemy and the boss didn't come. Okay, I mean, sure. Then we just fought the boss by themselves and they just died. No, okay. What's with these bosses? After Deadmines it's kinda a letdown, huh? And of course I met a new enemy, another werewolf, and of course, for some reason, he was immune to shadow. Yes, that's what I needed. An enemy that takes so much time to kill that most likely things will respawn when I don't want them. Now, you might think that, oh no, I'm overconfident again after defeating 3 bosses with no problem. But actually I'm not. I'm actually the opposite. I am extremely scared. You know, I played WoW Classic back then. I only played till level 30, so nothing special because I got bored. Not gonna lie, this game is not for me because it's too grindy and boring. That's why I'm doing it with challenge, but I always wanted to be level 60. And that's why I'm doing this challenge. But I did this dungeon. And this is why I'm actually scared. There is a boss, I'm not gonna talk about it, that I'm so scared that I just legitimately think that it is impossible to solo him naked. I just don't see it, and I'm constantly during this whole dungeon, all I do is think about that boss, that how is it even possible to solo? And trust me, I had no hope once I reached that boss. I'm just like, there is no way to defeat him. But before I actually reached the boss, we reached Odo, which actually I thought is gonna be an easy fight. Well, I got the wrong idea. Those pets actually hurt, especially that my pet takes extra physical damage taken. So I immediately started running back because, oh boy, the pet didn't survive for so long and I wanted to kite him and kill him. But even so, they were so fast, especially Odo, that I have no chance of outrunning them by damaging it. They will... Oh, they just evaded. Okay. Sure. But I went back after realizing this fight actually gonna be difficult. I had a plan. First thing first, I drank every potion, I eat, and I prepared for a great fight. Of course, I nodded to my Makov that I understand his plan. I got into position and the fight began. It was simple. I went into melee range even if it was claved down, so everything goes in melee range to me. I immediately AoE threat generated with my Tango, and once I did, I used Slumber Sand on one of the bats while I nuked the other one and feared the boss. It went perfectly. Everything worked so well. Once I killed one of the bats, I focused down the second bat and I feared, although until the second bat will die. It went so good until Odo decided to run completely the opposite way. And yeah, it pulled us. No, okay, I can manage this. Oh, nope, my pet is dead. Okay, now I'm in trouble. I started running, I realized I'm not gonna do it. I had to use sticky glue on the ghost so I actually don't die. So yeah, lots of limited item has been used. But I ran to the place where the boss just evades. As you can see, the bat evaded, so I only have to go. Why is the boss still chasing? Now I got scared. Boss is extremely fast because he is a werewolf, so I just ran. I tried to use the ledge here so I can buy a little time because it kind of confuses the AI, but... I noticed that something. I immediately ran back and tried to jump up, and I did. They have no clear path. It's the same as Deadmines. I found the loophole, I found the solution. Even though I was pretty sure I can defeat Odo without the ninja pool, I still kinda glad I found this because I didn't have to use another Slumber Sand for the next attempt, because if you didn't know, the bats do respawn if the boss doesn't die. So yeah, I Deadmines them all over again, and hey, cheese is a cheese, I get it, but a dead boss is also a dead boss. Now I managed to reach the first group that actually kinda stunned me, because it was Sons of Arugal, which I'm gonna talk about a little later, and 2 Lupine Horrors, which summons additional wolves that die by one hit, but still, it hurts. Now luckily, my first pull was not that bad, because only one Sons of Arugal and a Lupine Horror came, but it was still difficult, especially that the Doggo Horror Man is an undead, so yeah, of course I started with him because undead is you have to kill, but I had to kite a lot, and by kiting, yeah, I pulled an extra 2-3 ghosts there because I am lazy and I wanted to skip them since I don't really have that much time, but it of course backfired because I pulled them and now I just had to jump down to the entrance of the dungeon to reset the fight. Now I did the Shame of Walk back, which actually took a lot of time, and did the pull again, but this time actually 2 Lupine Heroes came with Son of Argal, so it was all 3 of them, but I did manage to kill one of them before I jumped down and reset the fight, so yay, I got one. After one log Shame of Walk, I went back, Son of Argal just came by himself, so I killed it, and then I killed the Lupine Hero by himself as well, so without that one extra Lupine Hero, this pull was easy, so yeah, that was it. Now, I wanted to talk about Sons of Argal because I did extremely well till this point, because this one I actually casted the spell on me. So far I line of sight of Fear Team pretty well, but I failed here, and it debuffed me with a Curse of Argal. And if you don't know what that is, it's a 5-minute debuff that deals damage every minute, and the damage is huge, like 200-300. That's so much it could easily kill me since I don't have gear. And that's why. That's the only reason I really wanted to farm Grimace, so I can actually do Shadow Protection Potion. Because that's right, that curse is shadow damage. So once I got the curse, I drank that potion so I don't accidentally die when my life is around 30%. You see, good investment. The grinding was worth it. Once I cleared out, I did manage to reach the next boss, Fingly the Doggo, and first things first, does the defeat fearable? Of course not, but luckily I can easily kite it, so the fight wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, he's fast, he's a wolf, so yeah, of course he's fast, but the place which I cleared the trash out of, it's really good for kiting, because there's so many places to jump down that I had no trouble at defeating him, so another easy boss, I guess, even though that was finally a boss. So yeah, it was a good fight, but not good enough for him to win. Then this happened. Once I went ahead, just random void walkers were in the stairs. I don't know where they come from, but they were here. But they were non-units. But they did hit hard, and for some reason they just healed. I don't know what was happening. They dispelled their damage over time effect, they get their health back and sometimes lose their health. I have no idea what's happening, but the way that they dispelled themselves and just annihilated my pet, I had no choice but to kite, even if they were non-elites. And oops, I did a mistake. I actually pulled the ghost a second time. Yeah, I should have cleared that, right? But I did put my boots on and ran back to the Deadmines spot. Yep, it was a long run and it's kinda cheesy to use, but I have no idea what was going on. I didn't know why the Voidwalkers kept losing health but gaining health and removing debuffs, so I just went to the safe place and killed them. After all, they were just Voidwalker and the Ghostman, so they were slow. They wouldn't catch up to me because they aren't wolves or something, so that was scary. It almost got me, but not as scary as what's about to happen, the scariest part of the dungeon. Meet the Wolf Master, the scariest part of this dungeon. This guy has 3 elite wolves and a non-elite wolf with him, but that's not all. The real problem is he stops and casts, and that cast is to summon 3 elite wolves and 1 non-elite wolf. And he just spams it like every 20 or 30 seconds. I cannot kill that many wolves before he summons a new one, and because he stops, means the wolf will be ahead of him. Means I cannot damage over time affect the boss, since the wolf will just tear me apart. This was the boss I had no hope of defeating him. And seeing how much health he has, it just confirmed that I don't know how to deal with this. I failed multiple times and almost died multiple times by doing absolutely nothing to the boss. I just couldn't damage him. Then I did an extremely well try. I sacrificed my pet, I summoned a new one so he can keep aggro and do damage, kite it perfectly, use every moment to get that extra damage over time effect on him, and you can see it. I did absolutely everything I could, use everything I could, and That was just half of the boss health before I had to jump down to reset the fight. It looked impossible. I turned around to run back to the boss and respawns. They respawned, and not just one group but the whole everything. This was it. I had to clear out everything to reach the boss, and even if I do that, I just don't have a plan for the boss. And clearing it out, it will take 2 or 3 more hours. I don't have that much time. The run failed. That's it. No, I went forward. The trash respawned around the first boss, but I don't have to go there anymore, so I went forward Wolfmaster. The trash didn't respawn there. I had one more shot. Just one more before they respawn. This is my last try, but I still had no plan how to do it. How can I deal 40% more damage to the boss so he can die before I have to jump down? I don't know, but this was my last shot. I had no more. So even if I succeed or not, here's the full fight. I succeeded. Even though we didn't see him die, we found his corpse. And it's all thanks to Fiona's the succubus. I already told you, she is gonna have an important role in this video, and she delivered. Without her, I don't know how I would be able to do that damage to actually kill that boss. And on to the last boss. Well, for the last boss I let Critical Tango sit outside so he doesn't interfere with the fight, and the reason was pretty much is this boss actually mind controls enemies in melee range. So I just 1v1'd him, and it was pretty easy because he's a caster, so this fight was just a line of sight. Kinda underwhelming after the previous boss, but that's it. The last boss is no challenge and it was easily killed. Like nothing happened. And I did it. I did 4 dungeons, reached level 30, and well, died once outdoor, not even in a dungeon. But we did manage to reach this part. And I actually thought I'm not gonna be able to do this dungeon, but I did. Now I'm actually really confident to do the other dungeons. Although now I'm gonna play different games like the Hollow Knight series, because there is still that challenge that I have to finish before I return to this. And I probably do shorter videos, like just 1 dungeon per video instead of 4. Because, oh boy, this video took me almost a week to edit. I'm not joking, I had to watch all the 40 hours of content because my dumbass, and I want to say that to my future dumbass, that mark the places of the video that
interesting to use in a video. I had to watch all 40 hours of that to find them. I hate you. Learn how to edit, learn how to create videos, learn something, because if you do that in the future, once again, I'm gonna beat you up. And that sounds weird because I'm gonna beat myself up, but I will do it. Anyway, I want to say a special thanks to Critical Tango for being by my side all the time, saved me so many times and thank for me, and of course for Fiona. Without you, Wolfmaster would have not died. And least but most importantly, Kreki, my Mokov, your support was everything to me. Well, see you in part 2.